Hello and welcome back to the channel, and we're going to play another one of the alt courses, and this is Siren by In Your Rear View, and he's asked that we play on medium to high winds, so we've gone for high and set it from south, as you can see here. There's two tees, I believe they're manipulated, so should be roughly the same yardage. If I'm honest, like we've seen a lot of manipulated tees in the last few years. I don't feel we necessarily need that loads. Yeah, it's a thing that happens. I'm never going to play loads of different tees. Let's try pin 4. Let's go. So Corey, I think, has been around for a fair while. He had a top 10 finish, I want to say, in a National Treasure contest a few years back with the one where we did states. I think this was the Rhode Island one. And he's someone who definitely takes big swings. I wouldn't say they necessarily always pay off. There was like a winter course one year that was not as good as some of the others. And yeah, the sandy coastal dunes kind of environment. He's definitely done some stuff with the topsoil. This is a wild, cool plot. Oh my, and it spans over to here as well. Okay, so you got these really curvy, swoopy fairways. It's very wide. It doesn't look like there's any. Like, there's a few formal bunkers, but not many. Most of it's just these sand scrape things. Look at the terrain painting stuff out there as well. It looks really good. So if we zoom around just a little bit, certainly from the outset, it's really bold and ambitious. And yeah, he's gone to town with the terrain painting. So you've got rocks in play. There's subsoils A and B. He's just had some fun with it, I would say. I am not. The weathering looks to me very on the grasses is kind of like very all or nothing. So we've got some stuff that's really weathered, and then loads of it that's just bright green. I kind of feel like you'd have some more variants or more yellows within those personally. Really like the paths. Like the subsoils are great for this. They look really good. Um, just the color palette's quite cool. Clearly the plot is very interesting. Almost like it's kind of leaning into fantasy, I would say, in terms of these trees and like this environment. It doesn't necessarily make me think of anywhere in particular, but that's fun. Wish the planting was more consistent. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I mean, like I said, that the weathering is a touch odd to me, in that I don't think you just get these really browned out patches and then nothing else. I think there would be some gradation there. Greens were bonkers. Yeah, that sounds. We're here for that. Okay, we're just going to leap in and give it a go. Okay, hole 1. So there's a load of width here. And then we've got, okay, green that kind of falls in lots of different directions. I mean, I think we just, yeah, it's asking us to hit driver. There's a lot going on right in front of us. I don't know if you need the jacked up tee box as much. Kind of feels like everything is very extreme and very in your face, which can work. But I think there's space for some quieter stuff as well, rather than pure sensory overload. Now we are going to go round about here. Hey, Matt. Yeah, we'll find out, won't we? I guess. We will go just to this side. Like, I get glimpses of like Monterey MPCC, like a little bit, and just with these trees and like this shore coastal setting. There's that one par 3 I think of. But I kind of think this is just fantasy of just like, let's just make a fun course. Not convinced this was made for a very like a high winds approach. We've got the very high end of the spectrum there. Yeah, thought that might be the way. Hi, Matt. Just yeah, this this grass, like the low lying stuff, can look great. I mean, I'm going to keep coming back to it. I really wish it were weathered. It just looks very green compared to where we are, which doesn't feel like it demands as much. Maybe that's a me thing, but And we'll get to it all, Finley. Oh, there's a shot. It does look cool. It is. I really liked the bushes used here. Look really good as well. Ooh, that needs to turn. Oh, it went super slow. Oh, it's 136s. Well, okay. Deserved a bogey on that one. We get straight to super scenic par 3. Looks absolutely gorgeous. 220 yards. Okay. Doesn't look like it's that far. I think everything is just really big, which is kind of throwing me off a little bit. That's an alright shot, maybe. Might be completely the wrong club. Oh no, we did get there, just about. Yeah, I really like the terrain painting. Like, this stuff here looks phenomenal. So good. It's not a great putt. Turn in. Oh, it turned quite a lot. Coastal Jeans has arrived. Of course, everything will be and must be. Again, like some of the terrain painting, this stuff short of the green looks so good. And little bits of the topsoil are nice as well. I feel the heavy rough colour is very deep green. The textures are throwing me off a lot bit as well. This is a really deep green for the type of course you're at, where everything would be exposed and yeah. Yeah, there's just some planting decisions are confusing me, like the trees and the textures a little bit. I do love the little sand paths. The terrain painting looks great. Like I say, I kind of wish this stuff. It feels like it's 20 feet down. I wish it was like 5. Just everything is very big and bold, and I don't think it necessarily needs to be. Didn't really comment on the last hole as a hole design. Worked well. Like we had a way to get back to that pin. Yeah, sorry, wasn't intending not to. Okay, and then we play. Yeah, in this wind, it's kind of point to point. This is always the risk when you cut off fairways multiple times. It just the decision becomes where can you get to, rather than where do you want to get to. That said, we'll just pop it somewhere up here. Let's fast forward a little bit. Then we have pretty decent approach look down. Hey, it's a really good look. I love the look of the next par 3. There's some awesome looks on this course, can tell already. Right. I feel like maybe this is the club, but I've just no idea. 108 down 12 means it's playing what 104 into dead into wind. Yeah, just go with this. That is the equivalent of that's how much maths I'll go to. Work out roughly what it is and then just go, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mentioned this was with Daniel's earlier as well. Like this sculpting could just be a little bit neater. That's a spicy pen. We'll miss low probably. Oh no, we hold it. Hooray. Back to even par. Good camera work. Oh right, it's not the next par 3. Yeah, just the transition between this green and this feel very stark. Like changing that alone, I think would make a big difference. Okay, we have long par 4. Love the green side. Love the green. I don't know that I. Oh, you're giving us a generous fairway, but I'm not sure I'd be splitting the fairway on this one. We've got an interesting wind for it as well, and it's split by quite a long way. I think you want to be really careful of how many times you cut off a fairway. Cool view. I wonder whether you could have just lowered this a touch so we see a little bit more of the green above that horizon line. That's probably not getting there. Well, throw up a Hail Mary. I mean, in what way is that 96%? Frustrating. Yeah, and then this sculpting, like again, we can be a bit more friendly or just do it neater so that it's not just going to dip straight into heavy rough. Little bits. Especially on a long par 4 where people are going to need that. Really cool view. I feel like I'm saying, like I'm picking holes, which is kind of partly what I do, but there's a load of good to this. I really like the green side. I like that you're feeding everything in from the right. I don't know that I'd have had it falling this way as well. I feel like that bit's fighting this. And I really like the way you're integrating these little paths. Looks so good. But yeah, just always come back to playability. Like, is it, what if people can't reach into? That's where the split fairway thing really comes in. Oh, this gets narrow and difficult. It's an interesting green. It is an interesting green. I don't think this one really has an idea of what it's doing. It's got some folds, but it's also falling off in every direction apart from where the pin is. Okay, what is my tee shot? I would like a little bit more width somewhere, just to be able to play something safer. I'm just going to hit a 3-wood and hope. I think that's good. There we go. That's a really challenging tee shot with how tight it is. I'd just also be careful about the tree on the inside because if, well, I guess nobody's, yeah, ignore that. Nobody's ending up back here and having to take on the tree, I don't think. Unless you really miss the fairway, in which case you are complete. If you miss the fairway left, you are absolutely dead. I guess just don't put it there. Not the, like the ball, not the tree. Okay. One other thing I would mention is the grass has now gone to, like, it looks giant. I don't think we need to do that as much for rendering purposes, but interesting to know how big that is. It just suddenly leaps off screen. Okay, so we can do anything with a, that's missing. You know very early, don't you? Oh, I really like the tee shot as like a concept of cutting across that dog leg. I think that works nicely. This looks great. Yeah, grass again. You can see that stuff behind is huge. This one now feels really close. I don't know, scaling on the course feels a touch off, I would say. Down, awesome par 3 though. Love this. This all looks great. And I like the green slope. So I think, yeah, funneling towards here. That's a nice little wrinkle. It works really well. Yeah, really like this one. I remember one of the very earliest things, hey Viking, I got critiqued on with Kayuma was the tree usage. I want to say it was Petty, who was just like, who, I can't remember his exact words, but basically said you would never ever see those trees in a coastal setting, like singles and just like dotted around. And that really stuck with me. And I kind of feel the same here. Like, there's a lot of, like, they're kind of more clustered. but they just don't really feel like they belong. Oh, we've got nowhere near enough club. And it's one of those things where once you see it, you just can't stop seeing it. I will try not to comment on it, but I do think you have the few. So they're just, in part they're just way too close to tee boxes sometimes as well, and very big. This is cool. I wonder whether you could have lowered this just a bit, especially with where this is cutting in. Like I feel like you'd want to see that. If you're going to go blind tee shot, we crashed. No, it's just going. In that thing where it goes about a frame a minute. There we go. We're back. I don't know if anyone else gets that, but I seem to get it quite a lot. Anyway, I like the concept of a blind tee shot. Honestly, I would have kept it blind and just given all of this as fairway and then not cut this in. I know we have scout cam, but I think we can do without that bit cutting in. Get in the design assumptions. Yeah, I get it quite a bit there. It's less common when I'm playing rounds, certainly. Right, bouncing down. This has a cool, like, sort of Pebble Beach vibe in terms of you're at this part of the coastline that's really undulating. Love the green complex. I think we could lower the front of the bunker just a bit, but and probably raising up behind it. This is always going to be difficult to sculpt. Right, 135, definitely a wedge. First swing I've made that feels decent in a long time. There we are. And we're rewarded. Cool views over the bay. Hey, Pac-Man. Feels mad that we're going to end up playing golf out there as well. And we missed the putt. I mean, visually it is really strong. I know I am nitpicking certain things. As mentioned, that's kind of what we do in contests. It's the only place you really get that feedback that you wouldn't have elsewhere. Okay. See, all right. Okay. I like the green. I like the concept. Potentially drivable, perhaps. This for me is a green where you've had a first draft of an idea and it then just needs work done to it because we've got these two really hard slopes and then we've done that and then just kind of left it rather than working them in. And just you'd soften some of them. This isn't I don't even know what this is because that's not really Macarena sloping. It's kind of reminiscent of that really hard angular stuff, but this definitely isn't that type of a course. Well, let's see where we end up. Really fun tee shot though. I think everyone will go for it in this wind. It looks so pretty. Right. Hit a little partial spinner. There we go. Come on, we can hold that one, surely. Nope, that's just a terrible putt from me. Let myself drag that. Okay, so now we've surely got to work our way back up. Oh no, we're going around the other side. Let's go have a little look. I feel part of the reason everything is so giant is that there is a lot of space between holes. Let's just go into... Yeah. I feel like you've made this awesome plot and then felt like you had to use all of it. And I wonder if you hadn't used that bit out there and just squeezed 4 holes elsewhere, I think you might have found this a lot easier to plant without making everything giant. That's my gut feeling. Yeah, it's probably not aimed that way. Cool skyline tee shot. We don't want to hit too far right. And we obviously go dead right. Let's go find one of these big bunkers. Okay. Okay, suddenly get into like volcanic territory. I do like this look less. Again, like, yeah, kind of as Finley mentions, I do wonder whether part of this is meter related. I mean, if I'd had that swing on the tee shot, we wouldn't have been in that mess. Definitely some bolder land movement. Ooh, okay. Perched over a false front. Let's pop it up in the air somewhere. Choked, mate. I've got no idea. I'm just assuming that off an upslope with a hurting wind, let's just get it up. Oh, we hold a putt. Hooray. Okay, now kind of more. Yeah, that hole just felt like a little bit of a departure with the lack of grasses and sand and suddenly all of the rocks. I kind of wonder whether that was meter related. I think this tree and this tree, I would be moving a little bit further away. Just you don't want to deal with a tree on a par 3 if you're just aiming straight at the green. Right. Interesting green, lots of contours. 6 iron's not going to get there. 5 iron might be too much. That's pretty safe. We're okay. Oh, that was back at the clubhouse. Oh, so he did. Was it? No. I thought I'd returned. I saw a building in the background. Oh, yeah, there it was. Oh, we did return. Good effort. On a plot like this, that's not easy. Turn in. Oh, it did try. I'll take that. Ah, I saw this one at the beginning. Ooh, okay. Further we go, the narrower it becomes. Really bold slopes. But there's a lot of safe green to land on. This would be incredibly nerve-wracking to play in real life. $175. Looks awesome though. And it kind of runs away. Okay. Just try this and hope. I've pulled it. Somewhere up there. Oh, lovely putt. There's some good putting. Okay, another blind tee shot. This one with some looks like some aiming markers there. Oh yeah, very much so. Wait, this one's manipulated. Okay, so the other one's there. Let's hit somewhere up here. That's a nice tee shot. Looks around the corner quite nicely. Another one of those pins tucked just over a false front. Up 21, so 137 with wind here. Let's go to that. That wind needs to hit it hard. Trying. Yeah, it was always a miss out. Ooh, okay. Go. Oh, it just had enough. Yeah, I think it probably would do. 315. Sort of drivable. I like what you've done with the sunken green. That's fun. Does mean that, yeah, we're potentially getting there with three wood downwind, I'd say. I might have allowed a bit more fairway short, because there's no way of laying up to a full wedge, really. Which I think is usually something we should try to allow people to do. Oh, found a way to get to a full wedge now. Oh, that's the club. Oh, that's the way to make a birdie. It says before he holds the putt. Ideally not. Okay. Where are we going now? Okay, so this one's par 3, but it's super punch bowly. I like the concept. I think execution is fine. It's hard to say. Like pinpoint exactly what. The surfacing is just a little bit rough around the edges. So like this rolling you off the edge of the world. If you hit up to here and the giant fairway apron over here, which I don't think we necessarily need. It will play how you want it to. Would also say at this point we've had a lot of kind of blind / semi-blind. I don't know if this was the place to do that. Given that we're, let's see how this fairway works. I might eat my words. Can use that fairway. Yeah, I just don't think this was the place for semi-blind. Like, let people see that, especially as we'd had blind on the last hole. Okay, on to 15. I'm enjoying this. Like, all of the courses so far have been really good. It's been a nice contest to feel everything is fresh. Okay, centerline bunker. Can't really go that way. Can go that way. Oh, caught that one nicely. I'm kind of blind again over those mounds. That's okay though. We're here. Come on, wind. I thought that was pushing it further right. Needs a lot of luck there. Oh, bounced straighter than it had any right to. Cool. Okay, back to here. And then, no, I've got my fair share of those putts today so far. How many par 3? Is this... I'm going to have to look at the scorecard later on. It feels like we've played a lot of par 3s, but this one feels a touch similar to the last, with just the amount of sloping towards. It's kind of like a bowl. At least, I mean, it's different in how it gathers. I don't know if I've got the right club. Well, definitely not the club. Hmm. Hey, chicken. Well, we're somehow still here. Absolutely got away with one there. Mm. At this point, we just hope. It did try. Did try. Take a bogey. Fine. After that tee shot, deserved much, much worse. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that was the fifth par 3. Fine. That's makes sense. Yeah, I'm not. I definitely don't enjoy the kind of volcanic element as much. I think the rocks look really good when they're placed in with the others and blended. When they're just one texture, they don't look as good. Let's just play it here. Another blind tee, well, semi-blind as well. Yeah, I just feel like we've had too much of this. Same thing again, and we've also done this concept earlier on the back nine. It's a cool concept, but it's only one to use once, I would say. That's a nice shot. And it's gone. There we go. Somewhere to there. Go on, start walking after it. I just need a bit more. And then we finish on a par 5. See if we can come home under par. Okay, so we work our way back down the coastline. Don't love the S bend fairway with where it works because it's all the same width, which makes it really difficult because you're always kind of cutting the corner. Might be okay. Not okay. That's fine. There's a little left of where I'd wanted it. Okay, and then we do the double dog leg thing again. And you've kind of done the same green where it bounces down as well. Which again, it's a really cool concept and I wish we saw it more often. But seeing it 3 times on the same back nine, it's just we can vary it a little more. I do not want to pitch wedge splash from here. Go to here. Hope. I thought it was going to be really good for a second, and then it just was not. Up we go. Oh. And there's our. I hadn't looked at the clubhouse, so I wanted to have a quick browse around. Palms are very cool. Yeah, that's really nice. And the equipment as well. Oh, that's really well done. Just very, very classy. And the plants as well. Oh, nice. Look at the awnings. Those work really nicely too. That's an early shout out for Clubhouse of the Contest. That's great. Okay, let's hole our putt, hopefully. And we'll tidy up. Oh, finished up. Was that 1 under? It's not the worst round I'll have. And that's our finishing shot. Right, let's have a little talk through. I think there is a lot of good on here. And like I will always applaud the ambition. Like there's loads of cool stuff there. Certainly the plot is really bold, does a lot of good things well with terrain painting. I think my gut feeling is the scale was just slightly off at the start. Everything was too big and you tried to use too much of the plot. And it feels that's kind of where we fell into some plant meter issues with giant grass and objects because we're trying to spread like what's the phrase? The one from Lord of the Rings. Too little butter over too much bread. That that phrase has always stuck with me. Um, then the other thing would be just there's a little bit of repeated whole ideas, a little bit of um, just I think sometimes allowing a safer shot off the tee, just widening fairways rather than having one consistent width, particularly when you have people hit across fairways. I think that's a must. Additionally, we had a couple of repeated ideas like the punch bowls, and some of them the surfacing and sculpting can be a little bit neater as well. Setting was awesome, and when you nailed the planting, it was really, really good. Some of those par threes on the front looked fantastic, and the denser stuff looked great. I would look at weathering a little bit more gradually. I think that would have really helped. I think the texture choice for heavy rough, changing that would have helped. Um, but I think the main thing was just try to what's the word? Try to just simplify at the beginning and kind of vision how much of the plant meter you have and how much you need, and then that would have probably helped with just spreading ourselves too thin. Hopefully that is of use. As ever, these are trying to give designers as much feedback as they can have. Some of it people will agree with, some of it people will disagree with, and that's absolutely fine. The main thing is that you get some feedback and then can choose to act on it or not, because we just don't get that in completed courses. Otherwise, people just do playthroughs and say how wonderful everything is, whereas that's not really helping anyone get better. But I'm really enjoying these so far, so thank you very much for putting out